Hey Insomniacs, Jake from Sleepless Records here. Have you heard of the band Viagra Boys? Formed in Stockholm, Sweden in 2015, the band started playing small shows around Stockholm, but quickly gained attention for their unique sound. But the band has a way more interesting history than that, and in today's video we're going to be taking a deeper look into the Swedish post-punk band, Viagra Boys. The name Viagra Boys comes from the quintessential drug, Viagra. Viagra is a drug that aids in male sexual health, providing blood flow to the woohoo areas. The band wanted to stand out and have a name that included the word boys, too. The name was inspired by a friend who had taken the titular drug and needed an extreme band name, and thus, the two terms were combined. There is only one American-born member of the band, vocalist, Sebastian Murphy, who was raised in San Francisco until he moved to Sweden when he was 17 to live with his aunt in Stockholm. At the time, Murphy was heavily drug and alcohol dependent and worked as a tattoo artist before meeting the band at karaoke, where they performed Mariah Carey's We Belong Together. When asked if they would ever change their name, the band had this to say: "Imagine being a manager for Viagra Boys, and every email is stuck in the spam folder."
Obviously, you guys personally have struggles with just getting the band promoted effectively because Viagra is in the name, and it's like your emails may end up in a fucking spam folder because of the band name. I myself had a hard time. I was typing into the Twitch notification box, "Hey, Viagra Boys interview," and it's like, "Oh, we don't like that you've typed Viagra in the box. Don't."
And it goes to spam right away. Yeah.
Don't. Do that.
In 2016, Viagra Boys released their debut EP, Consistency of Energy, which helped to establish them as a rising force in the post-punk scene. The EP was critically acclaimed and featured the popular singles Research Chemicals and Can't Get It Up. Sebastian Murphy's vocals are distinctive features of the Viagra Boys sound. He sings in a raspy and snarling voice, often using sarcasm, satire, and black humor to deliver his lyrics. He also adopts various personas and accents to mock and critique society's ills, such as macho culture, drug addiction, consumerism, and politics. He has been influenced by singers such as Iggy Pop, Nick Cave, John Prine, and Mariah Carey. The EP opens with Research Chemicals, a catchy and groovy track that sets the tone for the rest of the record. The song features a looping bass line, a simple drum beat, and some synth and guitar effects that create a psychedelic atmosphere. Streetworms is the debut album by Viagra Boys. Released in 2018, the album showcases the band's tight and energetic musicianship and the distinctive vocals and lyrics of Sebastian Murphy. The album opens with Down in the Basement, a snarling track that sets the tone for the rest of the record. Murphy plays the role of a self-righteous moralizer who calls out a cheating husband, a drug addict, and a corrupt politician while revealing his hypocrisy and insecurity. The next track, Slow Learner, is a self-deprecating anthem acknowledging Murphy's flaws and failures. He sings about being a slow learner, a bad lover, a bad driver, and a bad liar over a driving beat. The song also features some of Murphy's trademark exclamations, such as Yowza and Shrimp Shack, that add to the comedic effect. The album continues with songs that explore different themes and styles, such as Sports, a parody of macho culture and sports fandom, Just Like You, a sarcastic ode to conformity and consumerism. The band also experiments with synth sounds, spoken word segments, and interludes, creating a varied and dynamic listening experience. The album closes with Worms, a haunting track that contrasts with the rest of the record. Murphy sings about his fear of death and decay over a sparse piano melody and eerie noises. The song ends with Murphy repeating the line, "I'm not afraid," in a shaky voice, as if trying to convince himself. At 47, Benjamin Valle, the band's founding guitarist, passed away in October 2021. There was a social media statement from Viagra Boys that confirmed the sudden passing of their former guitarist, noting how saddened and broken the members were after hearing the news of his passing. The members of the Viagra Boys went on to thank Valle for the fact that the band would not have been able to exist without him. The late musician was honored with a photo set alongside a heartfelt caption shared by the band as part of its tribute to him. Their post also ended with the hope that he's now somewhere in space telling bad jokes to aliens. His cause of death has not been revealed. He was known for his humor, goofiness, and talent. He contributed to Viagra Boys' albums Street Worms and Welfare Jazz, which won critical acclaim and awards. He was not an active band member at the time of his death. He is survived by his family and bandmates, who expressed their love and grief for him on social media. The band's next album, Welfare Jazz, was released in January 2021, marking the band's second album release. The album features 13 tracks that showcase the band's diverse and dynamic sound and their humorous and self-critical lyrics. The album opens with Ain't Nice, a groovy and gritty track that sets the tone for the rest of the record. Sebastian Murphy delivers his vocals in a raspy and snarling voice, singing about being a shitty boyfriend and a selfish jerk. The next track, Cold Play, is a short and sweet track that mocks the blandness and commercialism of mainstream pop music. The song features a simple drum beat, a synth melody, and some vocal samples that create a catchy and ironic contrast. Murphy sings about how he loves Coldplay and how they make him feel good. The album continues with songs that explore different topics and styles, such as Toad, a bluesy track that parodies the macho culture and misogyny of rock music, and Into the Sun, a synth pop track that apologizes to a former lover with cliched lyrics, and Creatures, a dark and gloomy track that describes the life of drug addicts and scavengers. The band also experiments with country and western influences, such as on To the Country, a twangy track that celebrates rural life and nature. Cave World is the third album by Viagra Boys, released in July 2022. The album features 11 tracks that showcase the band's satirical and experimental approach to post-punk and their critique of the anti-vax, conspiracy theory, and far-right movements that emerged during the pandemic. The album also features a guest appearance by Jason Williamson of Sleaford Mods on the track Big Big Boy. The response to the album has been mostly positive, with critics praising the band's diverse and dynamic sound, humorous and clever lyrics, and biting social commentary. Some of the common themes and points of praise are the band's ability to mock and expose the absurdity and danger of the troglodyte mentality using sarcasm, irony, and black humor. The band's musical range and experimentation mixes post-punk, art punk, dance punk, garage punk, cowpunk, synth pop, blues rock, and house music. Viagra Boys have received mixed to positive critiques from music critics and publications. Some of the common themes and points of critique are: the band tends to brush against the boundaries of good taste, sometimes using racially loaded impressions or exaggerated stereotypes to make their point, as well as the band's inconsistency and lack of focus, sometimes relying on cliches or caricatures that weaken their impact or originality. But that doesn't undermine what the band does well, like the band's raw and energetic performance. The band's diverse and dynamic sound mixes many genres in a creative way. Viagra Boys are promoting their latest album, Cave World. The band has also recently been featured in a campaign for Marshall portable speakers and other cultural pioneers. Their evolution as a band has captivated audiences worldwide, solidifying their status as a beloved and iconic group. Over the years, they have fearlessly experimented with their music, incorporating various genres into their distinctive sound. Well, there you have it, a brief history of Viagra Boys, from their humble beginnings as a group of friends jamming together to becoming a sensational indie punk rock band with a global following. Stay tuned for more incredible insights in our upcoming videos, and thank you very much for joining us.